For all commodities, there is two trends that kind of are embattled. One is weak global demand. That we have to understand. In my scenario, where my view is that the global economy is still in recession, say if you take the peak of economic activity, 2018, 2019, then COVID, everything collapses, and then there is a recovery. But we're still below the peak in 2018 in most industries. If I take that and translate it for the demand for raw materials and commodities for copper, zinc, nickel, and so forth, the demand is a bit lower than it was at the time in 2018-19. But at the same time, the cost structure is up. In other words, to produce things has gone up in price. And so the commodity market should strengthen because of inflation and so forth. It hasn't happened yet, but this is something that I need to explain. If you print money and you create with fiscal deficits inflation, the money does not flow evenly into the system. No, it goes here and then it goes there and so forth. So commodities have been weak, but rice is up, and cocoa for your chocolate in the morning or in the evening, that is up very strongly. It's actually higher. It's now just beaten the record it was in 1977. That was the previous peak in commodities. So all I want to say is the price increases are very different. We had relatively benign wage increases until recently. But in my view, wages will have to go up. Otherwise, you get social unrest. And then the oil price, the demand is weak. Okay. We know that because the producers, OPEC and so forth, had to cut production. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't have to cut production if demand was strong. So the demand side is relatively weak. But at the same time, if I measure, say, everything and adjust it for the consumer price index over the last 100 years or so, oil is relatively at a low level. Agricultural commodities are at the lowest level. Gold is relatively high, because gold was at $35 in 1970. It's now over 2,000. So it's kept up with inflation. Of course, I'm a large holder of gold because for me to store energy is difficult. I could build a tank and store it there and so forth. But I'm always afraid of fire and accidents and so forth. So I hold gold and silver and platinum, physical, not to speculate, as an insurance and as a countermeasure against central banks who print money. And maybe I should hold Bitcoins, but I'm not a great believer in cryptocurrencies. But I can see the case why someone would hold Bitcoins or diamonds or paintings and so forth. I look at the commodity markets. The commercials are traditionally short commodities because they hedge their holdings, their inventory of commodities. They have reduced the short on oil very significantly to a level from which in the last 20 years, oil always went up. It may not happen this time, but I'm just saying, compared to, say, gold, oil is very cheap.